soul. Does it appear that there's no hope? Are there issues and problems in your life that you want to break away from and feel like you can't? Do you wonder, how can I be free from these issues that have destroyed my life? Well, my friend, I have the answer. Bible Way Hibner Memorial Church of God in Christ presents Chain Breakers, this and every Sunday at 9 a.m. here on WHYL.
From the L.B. Smith Ford Lincoln Studios, Oldies 102.9 is WHYL Carlisle.
Your weekly source for all things real estate. We're your hosts, real estate broker John Rainville and your mortgage expert Kingsley Harmer discuss everything from mortgage rates to home staging for foreclosures and everything in between that affect the daily real estate market. Real people, real questions, real answers. Today's show is brought to you by www.pagoloan.com, your source for new mortgage loans. NMLS number 1018. EnviroQuest, trusted for home inspections and radon mitigation in Central PA for over 25 years, and brokersrealty.com, the easiest way to search for real estate in your hometown. Now, on to the show.
Good morning, Pennsylvania, everybody out there. It's John Rainville and
Kingsley Harmer,
and we're the Real Estate Radio guys, and we're going to be talking about all things real estate today.
You know what, though? While we're on this topic,
go ahead.
You know, we're the Real Estate Radio guys today, right?
Right.
And you and I and through other negotiations have been thinking about a rebranding.
That's right.
So, you know, one thought as we've been kind of narrowing this down, I think we got it down to, what, about 3 or 4 options?
I think you have 5. I think we have
5 options?
5 right now.
So I thought, you know, we've got a lot of real estate broker friends, I think, that listen in to us on Saturday mornings. If not during the rebroadcasts on our live show on Facebook, Real Estate Radio guys. What if we kind of opened it up a little bit to get a little bit of feedback throughout the show?
All right, so some of the ones we have are Realty Sense, like cents like penny.
Right.
Inside Real Estate.
Right. And, of course, there's a tagline under this. This is just like the main title.
The main show title. Real Estate Wise Guys.
Right.
Property Foo.
No. That's a whole other.
That's a whole other game now.
That's a whole other game.
Property Authority.
The Property Authority. See, that's my vote, folks. The Property Authority with your gurus, John and Kingsley.
Yeah, so but I sort of still like the wise guys because, you know, don't get whacked in real estate.
You just like the idea of having to dress up in like a pinstripe suit and having a Gatling gun over your shoulder.
Well, I thought it would be the caddy would get to drive around in like the Blues Brothers.
Well, if we can get our producer to hook that up, that'd be kind of cool. We could just drive around town, get a billboard.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So why don't we have them call in or message us
call
on
in
Facebook?
Or message us. Give us an idea. I'll put them up here in a second. I'll type the names in there if you're on Facebook so you can see what they are. But today, you know, folks, we're going to be talking about, I mean, there's some rumors, you may have heard it, that there may be a real estate bubble, whether you believe it or not, or it could be, but maybe not in our area. We're going to be discussing that. John Stas has a great topic today. John's going to be talking about thermostats. You know, I mean, the big thing here this holiday season is that Nest thermostat.
Yeah.
And they've got all these other things like where Alexa and Google can control your heat.
Smart homes. I like that idea.
Yeah.
Because you could be anywhere now and turn your thermostat up if it's going to be a freezing night or down if you're going to be away longer to, you know, save on the cost.
So John's going to be giving us the ins and the outs of that and, you know, whether it really does save you money in that. We're going to be talking about, you know, why, if you're an empty nester this year, you may want to think about selling your house. Might be a really good time to list your home now. And we're also going to be talking about getting your home sold for the holidays, some things you have to do there. So it's going to be an interesting topic day. So Kingsley, what do you think here on the bubbles?
Well, I call hogwash, bah humbug, whole 9 yards. Any time in the near future, not happening. I know I was on a show with Jesse the other night on we did a 2-hour segment, and that was one of the bigger topics. And it was predicted. They're thinking, or he was thinking, in 2020, between 2020 and 2023. But when you look at what they call the credit accessibility factors between 2007, let's call it, when the first bubble burst, to now, I mean, there's just really no comparison. It all started to go awry when the credit markets ignored the loan. Let's just say the loan stats themselves, as far as from a point of view of when they defaulted, right? So if you had a stated income program that started off with, you had to have a 700 score, and they had all these stated income programs for self-employed individuals. And in the beginning, you had to have 20% down, maybe 25%. You had to show some skin in the game. And as the market adjusted and rolled through the early 2000s, greed kind of took over, because you had 1,000 mortgage brokers, and I was one of them. I ran one out of California. We lent in 47 states. So you had these mortgage brokers and or small, what I'll call warehouse lenders, where they basically had lines of credit. They would fund a home and then sell it. And in that selling portion of it, and in that portion from the mortgage broker to the small warehouse line and or direct lender, everybody was making a spread. So for every home that was purchased...
Wait. What's the spread? I mean, everyone was getting a cut of the pie?
Everybody was getting a cut of the pie.
So how many... Okay, so from the loan, person buying the loan to the real money, how many people had their hands in their pocket?
You could have had 4 or 5 people in the pot.
Really?
Right. So, the only way to... There wasn't a big enough pot. Everybody wanted to put their hands into it. So what did they do? As opposed to being more competitive, they just widened the pot. They thought, well, if we can only get 1 million people a year qualified for mortgages, well, let's think outside the box and figure out how we can get another 1 million in here. Well, stated income people, let's start with 10% down. They got to have good credit, but 10% down.
Yeah, but they're talking about that more buyers right now are putting back less than 20% down. So that's because they've eased the credit. Why is that?
Yes.
And there's a lot of good programs out there right now.
Well, and again, it all comes down to the performance of that particular segment or program. Okay, so I'm going back to the stated loan income. And the reason I'm doing that is because it started with you had to have 25% down. It was a very good performing loan, okay, or product, if you will. There was very few defaults. You had people that had skin in the game. They had good credit, okay. They were people that were self-employed, and they could, show that they were self-employed for a certain number of years. And then as that program developed or evolved, if you want to call it, or people came out with a new twist to it, it then became 10%, then 5%, then it became stated 100%. So now you've got somebody that was able to, get a 700 score, and by design you can do that with people with very little credit. And you've got a 700 score, you've got nothing down, you've got no skin in the game. And as you know, as a realtor, you can always have the seller pay for the closing costs or a good bulk thereof, right?
Correct.
So now you've got literally hardly any skin in the game. And where I was in California, you had people working at McDonald's doing a stated income loan with nothing out of their pocket on a $350,000 house, because that was all but entry level in the Los Angeles area. There was no business having loans like that, because now all of a sudden it transitioned from stated income to W-2 employees that were stated income.
So really, even though they're talking about the credit and everything being eased up, today the lending standards are much more stringent, no matter what, than it was 10 years ago.
Oh my God, yeah.
We're talking it's over 10 years.
You know, and keep in mind that after 07, you know, everybody in whatever agency was out to get somebody to be the scapegoat, right?
Right.
Well, you know, it ended up that, you know, the mortgage brokers, it was, you know, their fault, and loan officers, the whole 9 yards, not the people that actually established the programs to allow these types of things. And those people would get off scot-free, and the banks themselves would, you know, bailed out, and they still would get their bonuses.
So give our listeners some things that are tighter now compared to what it was when you were in California. I mean, credit standards.
Well, credit standards, there's a whole segment of lenders, if you will, that were financed outside of Fannie Mae or FHA, right? It was really called like an Alt-A segment.
Where they were just selling and bundling up mortgages and still getting somebody to buy them.
It was basically Wall Street. We'll just call it Wall Street. That, you know, was either one big fund or a pool of funds that put together a program that says, look, even if you have a 580 score,
right,
we'll still do a high loan to value, right? A lot of times in the beginning, these Alt-A programs.
So they had very little money in the game. And they had some sketchy credit.
As time went on, it became so loose that literally, I mean, in our industry, if you had a pulse, you had a loan. I mean, that was almost like a tagline.
Right.
You have a pulse, you have a loan. There was a product out there that you would fall into to buy a home. It was that simple. But it got so out of touch that you had people in combination of flipping homes, because it got to the point where, and I think that's where people are getting a little scared or afraid, is the market is really taken off as far as the market values. People are buying a home for $300,000, they put it on the market 2 months later for $370,000, and they put maybe $10,000 into it. Now we're talking condos.
But that's not happening yet now here.
Not here, but it's getting close. In a lot of areas, it's getting close.
In some of the areas,
Los Angeles, it's literally almost back to, I think, the levels that they were at in 07 as far as market values.
Well, yeah, we talked about that last week.
Right. And in Florida, you know, 7 years ago, you could buy a condo for $30,000.
So you think there's risk in some of the sand states again?
You know, and that's the thing. I don't think there's risk, because in order to be risk, there has to be a fall off, okay? And that fall off, I just do not see coming, because they're saying, you know, in order for this bubble to happen, they're escalating these prices, and they are, but I think it's more or less the lower level homes.
So really, like, housing credit or the availability is still only like, what, a third of what it was back in that day?
Well, there's a lot of really good programs, and they have loosened up to the point where, like I said, you know, you can go down to a 500 score, but you keep in mind a couple of major bullet points when you're applying for a loan. Either A, you have some skin in the game,
right,
or B, your income really is verified to the point where you're making sure that borrower fits within a threshold.
So there's no documentation loans out there right now, are there?
Well, there's always a no documentation loan, but you're not going to get it through, you know, a regular agency. You've got hard money lenders, and there are a couple of other lenders that have crept into the market that I would consider like Alt-A, but I go back to
explain to our
you
listeners,
have to have a lot of money down.
What's a hard money lender?
Hard money lender is anybody and their
Big
brother.
dog,
Big Al could be a hard money lender.
That's right. He's back
Look,
there.
I'm going to lend you money. You're a much higher risk than the average Joe that can't go to Fannie Mae, FHA, or your regular bank. Okay? But I like you. And I like you so much that I'm going to charge you 15% interest.
Okay.
And 5% of whatever that loan amount is up front as my fee in the very beginning.
Okay.
And as long as you pay my 15% every month, you can stay in that house. hard money is typically used for investors. People
So
that are looking
just
short-term.
one step above the pizza shop.
One step above the pizza shop, yes. It is typically used more or less for investors, short-term, that are knowing where
Right,
they're
because
going.
it doesn't really matter to them.
They build it into their strategy.
Into their expenses.
So
no bubble.
I don't see it. I mean, people look at how the market opened up, the mortgage market opened up over the last, we'll call it year, because it really has. But back in 2007, as I was starting to allude to, they came in looking for scapegoats, and they really clamped it down beyond tight. They just said, okay, there's going to be
it went ridiculous.
There's going to be no fallout whatsoever. And for a few years, you almost couldn't get a mortgage. It didn't matter whether you had 700 scores or not.
Those were just such dark days. You know, we had people that were already in the pipeline, had their houses, had houses under contract, mortgage in the pipeline, and lenders calling us and saying, it's a dead deal, dude.
Oh, no, I wasn't getting lenders calling me saying it was a dead deal. I was getting lenders calling me and saying, we're closed.
We're closing, yeah. That was another thing.
What do you mean you're closed? Tomorrow? You open tomorrow? No, we're done. Doors are closed, and we had to package up our loans and try and ship them off to the next lender. And there was literally, I want to say it was like 57 lenders that we used back in the day. Went out of business within 14 days. And then it was like 200 lenders inside of 30 or 40 days. And these are all, big money people. They just gone overnight.
So yesterday was Black Friday. Did you go out and buy anything good?
What did I do yesterday?
See, I think we need to make it Real Estate Saturday. So that,
everybody comes out and buys a home on Saturday.
Yeah. They line up. They line up at like 4 o'clock in the morning.
I'm all right with that. Yeah.
It's just a thought.
I could probably get through maybe about 100 people as far as qualifications and loans in a day. But yesterday was beautiful for me.
Why is that?
Because I did nothing. Relatively. I mean, I actually worked a little bit, but on a Friday it just seems like, well, if you don't work, it's okay. I understand it's the holidays, so you still want to get the stuff done, but there just seems to be no sense of urgency on Black Friday. Everybody's out spending their money.
Let me tell you what, for the real estate broker here, my phone still started ringing at 7:30 in the morning.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, God. No.
Yeah. I had 3 calls before 8.
My big plan yesterday was going over to my parents, my in-laws, and making sure that they were not stuck with a bunch of extra food in their refrigerator for the next few days.
Was everything okay?
Everything was just fine, yeah. And I helped them out. I mean, I had to empty their fridge out a little bit.
Well, that brings up an interesting topic here. We talked before about putting your home on the market in fall. Now we are really truly into holiday season, and people are in the mentality, well, do I put my house in the market? Do I not put my house in the market? I'm going to tell you what, from broker's standpoint, we're still low on inventory. Now, we did bring in a bunch of listings. We did have, I have to say, my guys were out there, my crew was out there. They were bringing in listings left and right, and still have more coming in. But we're still short on the inventory. Definitely in the affordable, housing range, under, I'm going to say 175, we're still lacking inventory, And
that's the inventory that goes like that.
That's right. So, an interesting article was out, on Risk the other day that, is suggesting that empty nesters right now may be the time, Big Dog, this may be the time for you to get top dollar for your house. Get that RV and move to Florida. That there is good opportunity out there if you're looking to.
I'm with that strategy.
But the same things still come into play. You have to make the house so that there's access to the house. That's still critical. People have to be able to get in the house. I understand if it's the night before, Christmas or a holiday, not letting them in.
Come on in, have some eggnog.
Yeah, you still got to, and like right now, if it's a vacant house, you still got to keep it warm, at least semi-warm.
Yeah.
Not only for just not freezing pipes, but so that people will stay in the house and really look at it. If they're thinking about buying it. Millennials are, supposedly still out there looking really hard. What are you seeing on the pre-approval front? Is there a certain age group that's calling you right now in the last couple of weeks?
Age group, sure. I mean, late 20s, 30s. But the biggest problem that I have seen is going to be the market between 0 and 150,000. There is really literally like such a limited inventory. The houses that are out there are either
or totally horrible.
or totally horrible.
Totally horrible.
And the funny thing is, even the totally horrible ones, in my opinion, are selling. So they're selling, and people are trying to get as much out of these properties. And I'm just going to go back to this bubble issue real quick, because it's this segment that I think people are basing all of their stats and judgment on, because the 100 to 150 is obviously the biggest segment of home selling, right? Stands to reason. There's more people that can afford them. And a home that was maybe $80,000 4 years ago is now $115,000, right?
Right.
People are trying to get every little penny out of this property, even though they're crap, some of them. They're still selling because there's just that little bit of inventory out there. So to answer your question, the long way, the hardest problem is you've got these people qualified. They just can't find a home.
Well, I'm going to go over some of the statistics, because these are new statistics just out. Existing home sales, are still slow. They're saying, because we have a lack of listings. 2% month over month, we're seeing, prices, change. We're seeing inventory drop. Inventory levels drop for the 29th consecutive month. So nationwide, a 3.9 month supply. So that's down over 10% of the inventory that we had a year ago. That's huge.
It's huge. And what's a normal, for those out there, what's a normal supply?
We consider normal supply to be 6 months.
Okay. So
you're
you're
a 6 month market.
You're breaching 60%, maybe 50 to 60%.
And a lot of that stuff shop worn. Like you said, like you were just saying, it's just ugly. But we still, do it. But the median prices are going up. Median price nationwide is almost $250 now.
Wow.
That's huge.
It is
That's huge.
It is huge.
And
on that note, because that is going up, the affordability is going to get out of reach for a lot of home owners or home buyers, because the interest rates are also on the rise. I mean, you've seen the movement over the last few weeks.
We've seen some bounces. I mean, about where are they right about now?
I mean, you're still in the 4 range, low 4s.
Still almost free.
But it's got a trend.
So you think we're going to see some dips and some?
I think by the new year, I think you're going to see it start to slowly but surely. It's going to go up, come down, go up, but over time, I see the trend that it's going to start rising.
We've got to bring it up off the bottom.
It's going to start coming up, and that's going to take those homes that are going up into the medium of 250. It's going to take it out of a lot of people's affordability range.
Right.
So the longer you wait,
another interesting thing is once again the time on market for the homes that sell, folks. For the homes that sell. So this is a skewed number always, because there's always houses out there that don't sell, and they aren't put into the calculation. But homes that are selling are averaging on the market only about 34 days. That's nationwide. That's not right here in Central PA unless we're right in the right price zone. But there where things are moving here pretty quick.
I think it's more like 2 weeks here.
Yeah.
I mean,
some price ranges.
If it's priced right, it's gone.
Yeah. Distressed sales are down almost 4%.
They're down 4% or down to 4%?
No. They're just down 4%.
Okay.
No. There's still plenty of distressed inventory out there. It's just interesting that, a year ago we were talking towards the end at our year-end wrap-up about where we saw, everyone saw the interest rates were going to be up. We were really expecting things to be up really almost about 5% right now. Didn't happen. We never would have expected that would be still this short on inventory.
Now, I'm a little surprised at that myself. The country in general, from a market standpoint, has, in my opinion, done a 180. There's more confidence in the U.S. market. Unemployment is down, right, to pretty low numbers. What are we at, like 5%, under 5%? And with all of that being said, you've got buying confidence, the whole 9 yards up. People are still not selling their homes. Why do you think that is? I mean, why is it? We'll try and break into this real quick. Why do you think people don't want to sell their homes? Are they just, this is it? They're comfortable where they're at?
Well, I can tell you in my household, we had definitely thought, that, next year we would sell, and downsize. But now, when we look at how low the interest rates still are, and we look at how low we can refinance for, it's like, do I want to go through the aggravation of it? So I think some people, when we had Mark on from Colebrook Construction, when he was talking, I think a lot of people are opting to redo things in their homes and are starting to stay in their homes. I don't think the millennials have come out full trot yet, as to what they can buy. But like you talked about last week, a lot of the millennials are trying to come out and buy their forever home now, right?
Yeah, they're just jumping off. I mean, it's sink or swim for them.
Yeah,
they're not thinking about step up homes.
Where we all, in my day, we figured, you build up, to
equity
the bigger
and
house
yada, yeah.
Slowly moved up in the home as you needed to.
Now, the odd thing is, we've had a couple of interesting scenarios for those that are a little bit more aggressive with their home buying, okay, and they think about it a little bit more logically. For example, there was a young couple that Jesse actually worked with, and instead of jumping the whole gun, and this has to do with picking the right program, the whole 9 yards, they thought about this logically and said, okay, well, I can go out and buy a $300,000 home now, barely get into it, and I can afford the payments, or I can get a little bit smaller of a home, have some cash left over, invest it into a few rental properties, have a property manager manage it, so you literally are just putting that money into an investment. Now, all of a sudden, this young couple has cash flow coming in.
Which is offsetting their mortgage.
Which is basically offsetting their mortgage. The home, after, I think, a year, they've already said, let's upgrade. They took enough cash out of the one that they had.
Right.
Because they were, they did some improvements over the year. It wasn't like they didn't touch it. They did some improvements over the year. They didn't touch it and moved up to, I think he said it was like 2 to 3 times the size of the one that they were in, and they still have their mortgage offset. That's one avenue to go. I had a client.
So sort of they're blending. You're seeing some blending of their buying and doing some investment and buying a home.
Now, don't go full boat on one side or the other.
I'm seeing a lot of talk about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I just recently had a client that did the same thing, except, he was lucky enough and able to do it within a 6-month time frame. He bought a home, did some renovations to put some sweat equity in, now is cashing out already and buying the home that he thinks is going to be his that's it home. In the meantime, he took cash out to buy some rental properties. Same thing. Property manager. He's like, I'm going to get a property manager. Very smart, very level-headed guy to say, I don't want to have to be knee deep in this business. It's not a business. I want to just, put it together and have it managed. So now he's got enough cash coming in. And now this is somebody that's not self-employed. They're employed, just
right.
like
So
the other couple.
They're using some turnkey investments,
right,
might be a good strategy for some of them to look into if they've got.
I think it's a great strategy if you've got some cash sitting there. Why put it all down on a home? Why don't you diversify it? I mean, we got a couple of great realtors, in your company that are very savvy when it comes to the investment side.
Yeah, especially getting the cash flows going.
Yeah.
Very interesting thought.
So, I know we got off topic a little bit there, but that was all based on why we thought there was no inventory.
Yeah, we can still use inventory.
So it still comes down. I'm still a little baffled by it. If the confidence in the American, what's the word I'm looking for?
Well, I think it's the economy. I mean, people have to feel strong about the economy.
And supposedly that's up.
Yeah, I think it is.
So why is the inventory down? Usually it goes the other way around. People are bullish and wanting to buy a bigger home. Does it have to do with maybe the have you ever seen all that stuff online now where people are buying mini homes?
Tiny homes.
Tiny homes. I mean, literally 500 square feet. You've got a bathroom, a bed, and a kitchen all in 2 rooms.
That's right. 12 people live there.
Yeah. But there is a huge growing, I don't want to say demand, but it seems to be like a
little bit of minimalism.
Yeah. And then of course you got to throw in the one where, did you see the one where the ex bought the sliver of land in between a house next to
and built a
house right next to the ex
just to be evil.
To be
yeah, I did see that. So I know one of our comments here on Facebook was, Rain had put up there about schools are huge singular influence buyers right now, where the school district is. No doubt we're seeing some things of that in municipalities, and the taxes are driving some of it. But if your future plans include a move, I'm going to tell you, right now, we need the inventory, folks. Give us a call, and we'd love to list your property. I mean, I know there's a lot of other realtors out there. So I think we're going to head to break, and then when we come back, we're going to have John Stas.
Fabulous.
So we're going to talk thermostats.
All right.
The Real Estate Radio Guys with John Rainville and Kingsley Harmer. We'll be right back.
Searching for a home online morning, noon, and night, looking at website after website, clicking contact me, and nobody does? Missed homes that were sold before you knew they were for sale? The better choice is searchhomesinpa.com. Search if you want, or they'll do it for you. Contact by phone, email, or text to adjust your search, or to tour a property. Start online. They'll call you back at searchhomesinpa.com, or call toll-free 855-919-HOME, and they'll do it for you. Searchhomesinpa.com, 855-919-4663.
Are you working with a mortgage company that offers pre-approvals or just pre-qualifications? Does your mortgage company reward police, firefighters, military, teachers, and nurses with better rates and fees? How would you like to apply and be updated on the status of your loan right from your phone? Introducing GSF Mortgage Corporation, where technology and relationships make the difference. Visit pagoloan.com to apply or call 717-200-4800 for more information. NMLS number 1018.
Searching for a home online morning, noon, and night, looking at website after website, clicking contact me, and nobody does? Missed homes that were sold before you knew they were for sale? The better choice is searchhomesinpa.com. Search if you want, or they'll do it for you. Contact by phone, email, or text to adjust your search, or to tour a property. Start online. They'll call you back at searchhomesinpa.com, or call toll-free 855-919-HOME, and they'll do it for you. Searchhomesinpa.com, 855-919-4663.
Everyone wants to buy, sell, or invest in real estate. If only they knew the best way to do it. Hi, I'm John Rainville.
And I'm Kingsley Harmer.
And we're the Real Estate Radio Guys. We bring over 40 years experience to talk about all things real estate.
Weekly, we'll discuss the latest trends, hot topics, along with tips and techniques that could save you thousands and eliminate headaches.
So tune in to the Real Estate Radio Guys, Saturdays at 8 a.m. here on WHYL 102.9. Real topics, real real answers for real people.
Are you working with a mortgage company that offers pre-approvals or just pre-qualifications? Does your mortgage company reward police, firefighters, military, teachers, and nurses with better rates and fees? How would you like to apply and be updated on the status of your loan right from your phone? Introducing GSF Mortgage Corporation, where technology and relationships make the difference. Visit pagoloan.com to apply or call 717-200-4800 for more information. NMLS number 1018.
Everyone wants to buy, sell, or invest in real estate. If only they knew the best way to do it. Hi, I'm John Rainville.
And I'm Kingsley Harmer. And we're the Real Estate Radio Guys.
We bring over 40 years' experience to talk about all things real estate.
Weekly, we'll discuss the latest trends, hot topics, along with tips and techniques that could save you thousands and eliminate headaches.
So tune in to the Real Estate Radio Guys, Saturdays at 8 a.m. here on WHYL 102.9. Real topics,
Back
real
to the show.
answers.
The
for
Real
real
Estate
people.
Radio Guys with John Rainville and Kingsley Harmer.
Okay. We're back.
Yeah.
All right.
We're back. Hey,
So, real quick, before we went to break, listing, you said. You guys are still having that free vacation for every listing, right?
yeah, and that's been huge.
So-
I mean, because some of the people are giving it away to the people that buy the home. Some of the people are taking the vacation themselves. So yeah, it's definitely a great promotion.
Well, yeah, because if you sell your home, as soon as you close on your home, you go on a cruise somewhere, or Vegas for that matter, and gamble all your money away that you just got.
I think for December we may open it up to all buyers.
Really? Buyers and sellers?
Nah, maybe just buyers.
Just buyers?
Maybe just buyers for the month of December.
Huh. So you have to buy the home before you go on vacation, though, right?
Right, you got to buy it and close on it.
So I can't just say I'm going to buy a home, get a vacation, and then change my mind?
That's correct. That's correct. You can't be putting the vacation underneath the Christmas tree.
I'm sure somebody would have tried.
Okay.
All right, yeah. So, I mean, well, and the weird thing is we've got, we still have enough time that if you really wanted to buy, you could still be in before the end of the year.
How long does it take you to pre-qualify somebody, pre-approve them?
15 minutes. Seriously.
Okay.
15 minutes. If you thought, hey, oh my God, let's buy a home for Christmas. Yes, it can be done. You call me up.
We can still get you in.
It takes you 15 minutes to get pre-approved.
So that means in January they could be going on a trip.
They could be going on a trip in January for New Year's, theoretically.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, it can be done. And you can close a house, 4 weeks on average. I mean, I've done it in, 15. You can do it 21. I mean, it's kind of pushing it. But legitimately, we're still here at the end of November, so you can close before the end of the year.
Plenty of time.
Yeah. Even with the holidays in between.
Who do you think that is?
Oh, my gosh. It's been a couple of weeks. I felt like I was on vacation because we obviously weren't here last week. So I've missed that voice. Is it John?
Hey, good morning, guys.
Good morning, John. How are you today?
Great. Missed you guys, too.
How was your Thanksgiving?
It was great, except got the cold from being around the whole family, all the kids and everything.
Oh, no.
But, yeah, it was great.
How much family did you have over? The whole family?
Yeah, not at our house, but my parents' house. We had about 20 people.
Ooh, yeah, there was always bound to be somebody that had something. Sorry to hear that, John.
Yeah, those little crumb snatchers, they will carry. They also are crumb snatchers. They're also disease carriers, man.
Disease carriers, the sniffle snuggers.
Hey, that was a real interesting show so far.
So, buddy,
guys.
let's talk to us about these high-tech thermostats and that. Can you really save any money with one of those?
Sure. Yeah, so some tips about thermostats. One thing that this actually happened at our office. Originally the thermostat was installed when the building was built, and it was put in a room that we don't use a whole lot. So it's regulating the temperature by a room that's not used a whole lot, and as a result, the temperature always seems to be uncomfortable. You set it at one temperature, and it's always too hot or too cold. So I actually went out and got one of these Nest thermostats, one of the smart thermostats. So they sort of monitor your usage and then start to self-regulate. The other advantage is they're a smart device, so it's Bluetooth. If you have a Bluetooth-activated phone, you can set it from almost anywhere.
So are you saying
we'll see how that works out?
That this is like an AI thermostat?
Exactly. Yeah, it's part of the smart web enabled thermostats. So I'll let you guys know how that works out. But some other tips with a thermostat. So number one, you want to make sure it's in a room that is representative of the temperature where you hang out. You don't want it back in the corner where a room may be not used as much, or maybe you have the vents closed or something because it's not used. Another tip for people out there, if you have, one of the things from our home inspections we see, if you have a heat pump, you want to remember when using a smart thermostat, especially with a heat pump, that when you increase your heat demand or cooling, or your heat demand by more than 5 degrees, the emergency heat will kick on, which is the electric backup heat, because you're basically telling the system, hey, I need more heat than the system can generate using the heat pump function. So you're going to a more expensive heat via the electric backup mode. So you get sometimes where I've heard of this, where people put a programmable thermostat and they say, hey, well, I'm at work, I'm going to put it down to 50 degrees. And when I get back, I'll turn it back up to 68 or 70. So they do that. And so every time that it tries to go from 50 to 70, it's going to that backup heat. And they're like, hey, well, my electric bill is actually going up. What's going on here? And that's one of the reasons.
Huh. So like a heat pump may not be good to use one of those thermostats, or does like that Nest thermostat, does it know it's a heat pump?
Well, the Nest thermostat's a little different, but my advice to someone using just a regular programmable thermostat is you just don't want to turn it down real low. You want to, if you go to work, don't turn it down to 50 degrees. Maybe turn it, if it's at 68, maybe turn it to 65 or 60 or something like that. And then the other thing is to turn it back up gradually, like have it go up to 2.5 degrees, and then when it reaches that temperature after an hour, then have it go up the other 2 degrees. Don't have it jump from
can you program
more than 5 degrees.
Does the Nest do that for you by any chance? Like, for example, you're saying it's kind of artificial intelligence. So if you're away and you want to save on the electric bill and you turn it down to 50, will it gradually steep the temperature up? Or is that just something you have to know in the back of your head to account for?
Well, I'm sure you can do that with a Nest. I just got it, and I haven't used it for very long. But, yeah, I guess being that it's programmable from a phone, you can set the temperature when you're away. Or in the case of my office, I'll have my office people turn it to down a little bit before they leave. We actually don't have a heat pump there. We have gas heat, so it's not as critical for that function. But
yeah, I think it knows. I think the Nest knows if your cell phone's not home. So, like, if you leave, it knows that the cell phone's not there.
Turns it down,
and it backs it down.
And it backs it down while you're sleeping too, right? Like sleeping hours.
Yeah, it backs it down. But John, can you use those with like a hot water system?
That's a good question. I know they do make timers and programmable things for hot water heaters as well. So
I think
I'm sure you can do the same.
We just came up with a new segment. We're going to call it Stump Staz. we got to come up with a topic,
today, didn't you?
And we got to come up with a question that's going to stump you.
We haven't been able to.
Yeah, when I do home inspections, I see those all the time. Especially the leftover relics from when you could call PP&L and set your peak hours. So I don't think that's available anymore, but you used to be able to get these timers, and people used to use them to generate their hot water during the off-peak hours.
John, I just saw one down in Edders, a new one.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so you can. Well, at least that's med ed there.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Huh. You can
So
do
you
that.
can still do that
You can still
with
do it with the
med-ed.
washer and dryer and stuff too, right? Like they say, okay, we'll only wash your laundry on off-peak hours or however that works, and you'll supposedly lower your electric bill. But I don't know if they still do that. Is it still peak and off-peak wattage? I mean, I thought it was just all fixed rate now.
It might just be on that water heater that I saw. I'm thinking about it. I mean, it might just be that while you're at work, it cuts it back, too. I don't know.
Interesting, because I would think, it's kind of along the lines of those Insta heaters, that come out of the wall and it only heats it on demand. What do they call those?
You mean for your hot water?
Yeah, the hot water heaters.
Well, Instant Hots.
Okay, yeah.
So, John, I mean, our listeners are going to want to know. So with these smart or intelligent thermostats now, do you really think there's going to be some savings?
Sure. The more closely, that your thermostat is adjusted to your habits, the more you're going to save. And it's only human nature to forget to turn it down when you leave. That's only human nature. So having it done automatically is definitely a good thing. Having a smart device such as one of those Nest thermostats. Another thing to keep in mind. Usually when buildings are designed, the design temperature, like during the winter, is about 68 degrees. That's what's considered comfortable. That's going to vary for each person. And during the summer, it's 78 degrees. So keep that in mind as well. If HUD reflects those, like for public housing buildings, they're required to keep it at least 68 degrees. That's because that's considered, so to speak, the design temperature. So during this winter, if you have your heat at 68 and you say, well, I'm going to crank it up to 75, it doesn't sound like a lot, but keep in mind as your heating device is producing the extra heat, the rate at which your heat is escaping your building is increasing as well. So you're actually increasing your heat usage and cost exponentially. Maybe it'll cost you almost twice as much to heat your building and keep it at 75 or 76 as it would to keep it at 68 or 69. Now, of course, that depends on the efficiency of your building as well. How thick are your walls, what type of windows. Another thing that we find, as home inspectors and building specialists, the insulated curtains can work great. If you have some older windows that are leaky or low quality or low thermal value, installing insulated curtains is a cost-effective way to really keep that heat in and reduce your heating costs during the winter.
John, on those thermostats, is that something that our listeners would have to have professionally installed? Is it something a homeowner with a screwdriver, pliers, or a butter knife can do?
Sure, yeah. Homeowner screwdrivers, butter knife, pocket knife. Homeowner can install those. They come with really detailed instructions.
Nice. So it's like a plug and play.
John, you know men do not read instructions.
No, that's why they got, look, red wire. Was it the purple wire to the blue wire?
Yeah, I'm sure you can go to YouTube and find a video on how to set up your Nest, right?
YouTube, yeah. That's how I learned how to do everything. And stay at a Holiday Inn Express the night before. So basically what you're telling me is that when my wife wants to turn the heat up to 79, that's probably going to raise my bill quite a bit.
Yeah.
That's when you want to get a Christmas gift of a sweater. Right?
So, John, about what's the price range on these thermostats, these smart thermostats? Are they, $500? What's the sort of price range on them?
They are a little costly, around $200 to $250.
Really?
For the Nest.
Wow.
Yeah.
Now, do you think you might save that in your first year?
I didn't try to calculate a payoff, but in my case, I think I would, considering that I've gone there in the summer and it's been, like ice cold in there when on the weekend when nobody's there. Considering my situation, where our office, how out of whack that system is, so for sure there. But I guess it sort of depends on.
Well,
the
what's an
efficiency.
average electric bill? $200 a month. So, I mean, if you're talking about a $200 thermostat, I mean, you're really only talking about having to save 10% of your energy costs, right? 10% of a day is 2.5 hours of having your electric use, for example, your heating costs, lowered. So while you're sleeping, you've got, let's call it 6 hours of that time.
You did stay in a Holiday Inn Express.
I did, and I had a lot of coffee this morning. So if you're sitting there sleeping 6 hours and the thermostat's turned down, let's say 4 or 5 degrees at night, I would think that you're going to save 10% on your electric bill every month easily. So I think you'd be paying that back at least in a year, if not half of that time.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it seemed like a really good idea. And I didn't stay at a Holiday Inn Express, but it still seemed like a good idea. So we'll find out here.
Awesome. All right. Well, hey, certainly something to think about for the average Joe out there if you want to try and save 10% on electric bill. I mean, I can't say car insurance on this program, but get into some trouble.
So, John, just to give you a heads up, next week we're talking auctions.
Ooh.
Oh, okay, awesome.
Auctions.
Nice. For what? Like memorabilia or what?
Whatever you got. Real estate, whatever.
Okay. All right.
All right.
So do you install thermostats, John? Just out of curiosity.
We don't. Now we installed it in house, but we don't for the general public install thermostats.
No, you wouldn't like say, "Hey, give me $200, I'll come out and install your thermostat."
I'd say watch a YouTube video.
All right, but I'm sure you could actually
keep the $200.
I'm sure you could actually tell a homeowner whether or not it's time to upgrade their thermostat by looking at their system and going out when you do the home inspection. So, what's the best way to get a hold of you? Best number?
Best number to call us is 717-233-6144.
That's 233-6144. And you are on Facebook, of course, and your website is ebqharrisburg.com.
That's it.
Awesome, John. Well,
thanks for coming on.
Great show today, guys. Time to go watch The Big Short now.
Oh, yeah. And football, and nap, and eat leftovers. Yes, it's still a great holiday weekend, so enjoy the rest of yours, John.
Have a great weekend.
Okay, enjoy it. Good talking to you guys. See you next week.
See you later.
Yeah, so I mean, it might be something for most of our listeners to think about.
I think it is. And actually, a website called fixedelectric.com. I think they have a way to not only get a lower fixed electric rate, but I think if you sign up with them, they have a way that you can get a Nest thermostat included.
Well, I think
with the plan.
I know for the only one I know locally, I think UGI actually has a rebate. If you put one of those thermostats in, they give you money back towards it. So you may want to check, folks, with your utility companies, with your electric company, with your gas company.
Find out the asterisks on whether or not you have to pay a professional to do it or use a pocket knife.
Butter knife. You don't even need to turn off the power if you know what you're doing.
No, my gosh, no. I mean, there's not enough voltage through that thing.
So, that was interesting. I mean, I'm all into saving money. I mean, I just wanted to know if Big Dog could put one on his hot water system.
Yeah, well, I have a heat pump though, so I wonder if it will work with a heat pump with that that whole drastic change thing, like he says. The emergency electric kicks on.
Yeah, well, I guess it could roll it back, from 68 to 64.
Yeah, the question
is, but then I guess it would have to stage the
right. Does it do a step up, or does it just kick it right back to 68?
I do know that as you set it up, it's supposed to ask you what type of heat system you have. Is it like gas? Is it propane? Is it oil?
Well, hopefully, then they thought about that when they programmed it.
Yeah, I mean, because a lot of people, I know for a lot of the Black Friday sales, I saw where like that Google Mini and that Google thing where you can say, hey, Google, change my channel to channel 5. And then, hey, I'm chilly, Google, can you Can you turn the heat up 2 degrees? So a lot of these things actually work integrated now, which is pretty cool.
I think it's great because the Alexa and the whole 9 yards.
It's like the Jetsons.
It literally is becoming that because everything's smart. Alexa, turn my temperature to away mode or whatever the case may be.
Yeah, I mean, how handy is that?
They have electrical outlets that you can do all the same stuff with from your phone, or you can have everything sleep. So, for example,
that's a nice thing to add.
if you have, let's say,
that might be a good topic.
all of the, let's say, appliances in your kitchen, right? They say if it's plugged in, it draws juice, right?
Yeah.
So what's the best way to eliminate the use of electricity but to unplug stuff?
Yep, or throw the breakers.
Or throw the breakers. But what if you had like a quote-unquote smart outlet that just put everything to sleep, that automatically shut everything down and put it on sleep mode so that it wasn't drawing electricity?
Right, because we all got it in the habit over the last few years, surge protectors. And that thing's lit all the time.
Right.
So that has to be using some electricity just for the surge protector.
Right. The question is how much?
Right.
Like, who did we have on, I think it was like a month or so ago, where they would come in and do an energy audit?
Oh, yeah. Well, that was the company that does the energy audits.
Okay. So the company that does the energy audits could come in, tell you, where you're drawing.
Right.
The most, for example, let's say your coffee pot's sitting there on and it's on a, maybe obviously you'd have to have it on a timer, but if it's just sitting there because the light's on and you start putting in these smart outlets to just go to sleep at certain times, I wonder how much you could save on that a year. It's an interesting topic because
it is.
I know we had a show on solar.
Right.
Right. We've got the Nest Me here. Or the Nest thermostat. So, you couple all of this together, and you really could probably get your overall energy savings down quite a bit if you just take one little step at a time.
Yeah, I'm all for it. I love being frugal. Lets me spend money other places.
Yeah. Exactly.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, put it towards your mortgage. Pay it off sooner.
To an investment property.
Buy an investment property.
Yeah, buy 2 investment properties.
Why not?
So next week, folks, we're going to be talking with Sarah Smith-Katz, an auctioneer for a number of years. I don't know how you do that, She wants me to be, maybe become like an apprentice auctioneer. I don't know if I can do that. Maybe that'd be something for you to try.
Yeah, no. You'd have to feed me like 3 of these.
We're going to find the ins and outs of, buying and selling real estate through auctions, how they work, what the terms and conditions are, and what your rights and responsibilities are, because it is different than when you buy a house from a real estate agent or for sale by owner.
That includes contents, too. I mean, it's not just the real estate, but like, for an example, an estate.
Right.
What do you do? How do you handle an estate when you've got a whole house full of stuff? If you can handle all that at once.
That's right.
Can you?
Yes, absolutely.
Well, cool.
Yeah.
Then we'll learn about that next week.
Absolutely. We can auction off the contents and then go to the house that day or the next day.
Well, then I'm looking forward to that show then, because I think we could all learn a lot. In any event, so I think we've learned today that we're not going to bubble anytime soon. So. And we have no inventory, so call up, get your house sold, brokersrealty.com.
If you're an empty nester, it's a great time to put your house on the market.
Takes you 15 minutes to get pre-qualified. Get out there, put an offer in. You can be in before the end of the year and get a free vacation. PAGoLoan.com. You can call me 717-200-4800.
Don't forget John Stas at EnviroQuest.
EBQHarrisburg.com.
And so it's real topics.
Real techniques?
No. Real answers, man. And then real people. We even wrote it down today.
Well, I wasn't watching. Hey, happy holidays. Have a great weekend. Enjoy some football and leftovers. Until next week.
Thanks so much for listening to this episode of the Real Estate Radio Guys with John Rainville and Kingsley Harmer. For more great content and to stay up to date, visit pagoloan.com, brokersrealty.com, and facebook.com/Real Estate Radio Guy. If you enjoyed the episode, please rate and review, and we'll catch you next time on the Real Estate Radio Guys.
From the L.B. Smith Ford Lincoln Studios, Oldies 102.9 is WHYL Carlisle. It's the Morning Sunshine with Joe Rickey and John Christopher on Oldies 102.9 WHYL.